Hey Leo, happy December 2017. This is Dark Dove Tarot. I hope you are doing fantastic. I'm going to go ahead and add a little more energy to the cards before we get started. As you know, I pre-shuffle, but I like to add a little more energy before we get moving. So, gosh, can you believe it? It's the end of the year. One more month and we are done with 2017 and moving on to 2018. I hope it treats you fantastic. So, as you know, my reads are based on love, and I generally read for singles and anybody looking to reconcile. Majority is going to be based on singles because those are the people who reach out to me wanting private reads, are generally the people who are, you know, inquiring about just their love life. So, also anybody looking to reconcile. I will bring up any general, you know, finances, etc. if the cards give that off. So hopefully this resonates with you. As always, check your sun, moon, and rising because this is a general read. Like I said, I hope it resonates with everybody, but if it doesn't, you want to check those signs as well, as sometimes they may resonate with you more than others. Any likes, subscribes, comments are greatly appreciated. You know, I do this for you, so if there's anything you prefer, anything you like, don't like, etc., let me know. So 2 months ago, I asked you guys, I'm going to get your theme of the card, or theme of the month card out. 2 reads ago, I asked you guys if you liked the cards face up or face down, and every response I got after that read was down. Then last month I started getting people who said up. So I've decided December's the, you know, December's the deciding factor. And that card just came out. So we use that one for your theme, which is death. Don't be scared by it. It's actually one of the most rewarding cards, I believe, in the deck. So, as I was saying, if you like the cards up or down, if you have a particular way, let me know. But so far through December, everybody said down, so I'll probably be sticking with that. Again, any likes, subscribes, comments are always greatly appreciated. If you want a private read, the information's in the description. So we'll go ahead and get started for Leo, December 2017. Okay, so like I was saying with death, for me, it's always a really positive card because death is a rebirth. It's changes. It's a transformation. So Leo, this says that whether you're single or looking to reconcile internally, and it can be externally too. It could be exercise, diet, changing your hair, you know, changing habits, etc. But death is often an internal change as well. It's a new beginning inside yourself. It's a new way of thinking. It's a new way of living, or maybe, you know, more of a positive attitude, or maybe you're meditating, or, you know, something inside of you is urging a change, which eventually will reflect externally as well. So not a bad card for the theme of the month. All right, the first card you have, which is your current position coming into the month, is the Queen of Swords. The Queen of Swords, if you're single, is somebody who is looking for some sort of clarity. So if you're dating, or if you're looking to get back into the dating world, the Queen is saying you're looking at it, you're wanting clarity. Like, is online dating the best solution for me? Is a meetup group the best solution for me? What went wrong before if I tried to date? Some of you may have been on hiatus and now you're coming back to it. Some of you have been kind of slow and steady, putting some effort into it, but not a ton of effort. And maybe, you know, the holidays has something to do with it. You've been pushing it a little more than you normally would. Maybe you've been feeling kind of just not interested in dating and, you know, spending time alone. And this is saying, you know, you're willing to, and you really want a change in your love life, right? You do want some sort of change, some sort of rebirth back into meeting people, or meeting, you know, somebody to have a relationship with. Eventually move on to something more if that's what you desire in your love life. And the Queen is saying you can have that. You just need to figure out, you need some insight into what you want and then what's going to suit you the best. Because as we all know, regardless of what, you know, sign you are, dating is tough. And Leo, oh, sorry, my entire deck just fell on the floor. dating is tough, no matter what sign you are. But, you know, if you go about it the right way, if you figure out the right avenue for you, maybe online dating was too stressful. Maybe you're not meeting the right kind of people. Maybe, I mean, there's a lot of different, you know, different dating avenues that I've been learning about myself recently, just because I've been looking into it, because I do this, and I think, you know, it's important to know there's other avenues other than, you know, the BS of online dating, because I've done that myself, and it can be a really good experience for some and a really terrible experience for some. But if you're dating, there are some new things coming out that I'm seeing where it's more of a matchmaking service. A lot of those can be really expensive, but I've seen some that have come out recently that are a little less expensive, and they're a little more geared towards you actually going on a date. Because I think some of the biggest pet peeves a lot of people have had is, you know, the ghosting or the breadcrumbing or whatever all these fancy words for just being a douchebag is. And so I think, you know, Leo, you want to date. You have that fire, that desire. I mean, you are a fire sign, and you have that passion and ferocity in you. So you want to date, you're like, I'm not going to do it the old way. I've got to figure out some other way of doing this that's not going to make me feel completely, you know, insane. If you're looking to reconcile, somebody is either you were dishonest with somebody or somebody was dishonest with you. So because the Queen of Swords, for anybody looking to reconcile, says that you're being critical about somebody or somebody's being critical about you, and you're just looking for honesty, or they're looking for honesty. Now, I feel like for the majority of you, you're seeking the honesty. You're not quite understanding what happened, or you were blindsided by something, or there was an affair. Somewhere in the Queen, you are looking for some sort of insight, direction, just understanding exactly what happened. Now, you've got to be careful with this card too, because there is a critical aspect of it. So you may still be in that stage of feeling angry and wanting to point fingers, which may be rightfully so, but it may not be. And so this may be saying, ease up a little bit and listen to what this person has to say if you do end up in communication with them. For some of you, I feel like either you've attempted to communicate with them or they have you, and either, you know, you're getting, you know what, I was going to say either you're getting there or you're not, but I feel like for a majority of you, you're not. Or I feel like if they're trying to contact you, you want nothing to do with it, even though you still have, you know, some strong feelings for this person and still feel this connection. So you're more torn with, do I cut it off, or do I pursue possibly getting the answers I need in order to ever trust this person again? Be careful with this card though, Leo, because the Queen can be critical, and like I said, could be pointing fingers, but the Queen can also be critical of herself. So if you, whether you're male or female, so if you are trying to figure out what happened, or you're not understanding why they don't want to be with you, or maybe they had an affair or whatever, the last thing that you need to be doing right now is blaming yourself or criticizing yourself, saying you did something wrong, or that maybe if you had done something different, they would have done something different. So I feel like, Leo, if you're looking to reconcile, some of you are placing some blame on yourself, that really you don't need to do that to yourself. The next card you have is anything internal that you're feeling throughout the month of December. And you have the Tower, which it can be interesting. If it was external, I would be worried that somebody was losing their job or something was happening in that direction. But because this is internal and how you're feeling coming into the month, this is a breakdown of walls. This is a breakdown of all foundations. This is about tearing everything down, and it's a dissolution. So it's removing everything and building from the ground up. So if you're looking to date, I think these actually go very well, because this is you saying, I'm not going to date the way I did before. Whatever behaviors I did, whatever behaviors I portrayed, or whatever behaviors I accepted from other people that were not, you know, good enough, or maybe I allowed people to treat me badly, or maybe, you know, you weren't always the best with people and just assumed, like, you know, maybe insecurities came out and you assumed that, you know, they were game players or whatnot. Whatever this is, the Tower's saying, you've got to break down those walls. And if you're looking for somebody in your life and you're looking for a relationship, you're going to have to break down any walls you have up regarding love, romance around your heart. Now, doesn't mean you have to go out and wear your heart on your sleeve and, you know, be willing to sacrifice your emotional being or your soul or your heart to get what you want. It does, however, mean that if you want to date and you want to meet somebody, you can't have that chip on your shoulder if you've had bad experiences in the past. The Tower's saying, look, if you break down your wall brick by brick, you know, and you let the universe know, I want something great. I want to build something amazing with somebody. I need a solid foundation, though. I need something built on trust, something built on security, something built on genuineness of both myself and this person that I'm going to meet, both being the best people we can, or at least being honest with each other. Then you can get there. And the Queen's all about honesty too. So if you're dating, this tells me, look, you just want the real deal. You want somebody honest. You want somebody caring. You want somebody to just be themselves, because you want to feel free to just be yourself and be open and honest with somebody as well. If you're looking to reconcile, this is a breakdown of a relationship. This is a revelation of either you need to move on, or a revelation that there was a betrayal here and it was either worse than you thought, or you are finding out answers, and that's why the Queen is coming in as somebody seeking those answers. And the Tower is saying, look, these answers may crush you. They may not be what you want. You may find out that it's not what you want. But the good thing with the Tower is you can always start with a clean slate and build from the ground up. Now, I'm not saying reconciliation isn't possible, but there's some unanswered questions here, Leo. There's some surprises. There's some feelings of less than, or hardships that have taken a hold of your dignity to a certain extent. And, you know, I feel some of you just completely crushed with whatever you figured out or whatever keeps coming at you. In fact, for some of you, I feel like you're starting to get the answers and you knew it was going to be not very great. And it seems like they're not, it seems like it's almost worse than what you expected. So if that's the case, you know, I really apologize, but this is internal too. So I warned you here not to be too critical, and here maybe you're making them worse than it has to be. Now I'm sure somebody's going to message me and say, oh no, he or she were awful and whatever. And I get that, right? Because there's millions of people out there in relationships, and I'm sure there's a scenario for every single one. But this says, you know, look, if things are bad, but you still love this person and you want to communicate and you want to find out the truth, then that's what you need to do. Look at it clearly. Yes, you can be angry. Yes, you can have some negative feelings, but if you do this, that everything's horrible and, you know, everything's coming to an end, you're not going to get anywhere with that. The next card you have is your distant past. Over the past 5-10 years, this is generally, you know, long time ago. Could even be like, you know, family relations, siblings, parents. I always bring this card up as I state in every read, because it's super important to remember what good things to take with you in a relationship and what bad things to maybe not fall into the habit of doing if you behaved a certain way, or if you allowed people to treat you a certain way. Kind of like I said with the Queen, coming into the month, realizing, you know, what works for you and what doesn't, and what you're willing to sacrifice and what you're not. And this is the 10 of Wands, which is a lot of burden here. So this says that some of you, you harnessed a lot of responsibility or some sort of burden in relationships. Maybe you were always the breadwinner. Maybe you were always the one who had to be kind of, you know, up and flowing as far as like emotions, if that makes sense. Like you were always the yes man or yes woman. You were always there to please other people, and, you know, taking on the brunt of, maybe you're with somebody who had a lot of emotional problems or had mental illness. Somewhere here you were carrying the burden of a lot of it. Maybe you were, you know, a stay-at-home mom or stay-at-home dad or whatever it is. You felt like you were completely responsible in these situations. It could even be as a young child, you know, you had a single parent who worked and you had to take care of siblings, or maybe you had a parent who was drug addict, alcoholic, and you had to help take care of them. Somewhere you had some heavy burdens here, Leo, like big time, and you swore you never would. And so maybe your relationships have been based on money, or not all of them, and I'm not saying that's negative, but maybe it's been based on you both have good careers, not a sugar mama or sugar dad situation, which I'm sure some of you could say you've had or whatnot. But I'm saying that for some of you, the partners that you've picked have been based on these past burdens and responsibilities, or like you felt like you were the one making the relationships work. And even if it was, you know, when you were young, with your parents or with your siblings. And this is saying you're not going to do that anymore. Like, you want somebody who's genuine and who loves you, not somebody who, you know, has a good job and you're not looking at their car. You're looking at somebody who's going to be there along with you through thick and thin, not somebody you have to take care of and not somebody who has to take care of you. But this feels more like, whether you were single or looking to reconcile, at some point in your life, you had somebody that you had to take care of, or you always had to be the person, you know, on top. You always the one to rise to the occasion and make things better. And you want somebody who's equal partner. You don't want somebody who takes care of you all the time, or that you have to take care of all the time. You want to share those responsibilities. And I think that with this transformation and this change, it's going to be like that weight of this responsibility, like the weight of the world is lifted off your shoulders. The next card you have is your immediate past, so the past 2 weeks, past month or so. The Justice card is interesting because this card is a lot of times about marriage, and about a joining of two people. So if you're dating, this says that maybe you've met somebody, maybe you're going to meet somebody. This is, or you've been meeting a few people and you're really looking into them clearly and critically. That's why the Queen is here. Maybe you've met somebody, one or two people who sparked your interest, and you're going, okay, what do you really have to offer? What's going on here? Because the Justice card is about cause and effects. It's about absolutes, right? And so there's one or two people, I think, that either you have met, you're going to meet, and one in particular that I think you're trying to weigh out in your mind. If you haven't met them yet, you know, then it's somebody that's possibly coming in. But this is saying, or you're weighing two people too, which is interesting because that's almost like the Judgment card, but this actually is the Justice card. And I think they might be like on two equal planes. One might be somebody you're super attracted to, but you're not sure how well they'll hold up in a relationship. Not that you can't be attractive and successful, but some of you know what I mean. It's more of like a lustful type relationship, or that's what it feels like a little bit. And then somebody else is more like a friendship type relationship, but you could see yourself being with either one of them. So that's very interesting. Somebody out there, and somebody out there is literally making a decision, or is going to make a decision between two people. Now, for some of you, that may resonate with you. For others, it may just be, you know, one person you're talking to. But Justice is saying you're looking at somebody, or you're going to be put in a situation here throughout December where you're going to have to weigh this person who kind of has come upon your life, but you're not sure where to put them. I hope that makes sense. I see somebody being like, so he or she's really nice and they're really cool, but I mean, are we friends, or could this be more? I mean, they've got their baggage, I have my baggage. I mean, we've got stuff going on here, but there's somebody, Leo, that like could very well be a significant person in your life. You're just not sure like what to think at this point. If you're looking to reconcile, this is the past couple of weeks you've been weighing like the pros and cons. And if we never talk again, what happens? My heart gets hurt, but if some of you have kids, then what happens with the kids? You have some very big decisions here, Leo, and I feel like some of you are struggling with letting this go. Normally, you would see yourself being like, screw you. You know what? I'm done. Like, you don't get to put me through this shit and treat me like this, and I'm going to stick around for it. But there's something here that you need to know. Like, you need to know that you guys will be able to take care of your kids together if you have your kids. You need to know, I mean, some of you have some things that were invested, not just your heart, which is very important, but you had other things, like maybe you had a home together and you just are like, I need to see this through and I need to know what's going on. If we're going to get back together, there's going to be some serious freaking changes because I'm not going to deal with this. Or if we are not going to see this through and we need to break up, then there's going to be some major changes. And how's that going to affect us and everybody around us? And I hate to say it, but justice is about the moral issue. So, you know, maybe they cheated, maybe there's adultery, maybe you did, and you're not sure what you want. However, right now, Leo, I feel like, you know, unfortunately, it may have been you who was somewhat swindled to a certain extent. The next card you have is your distant future. So over the next few weeks, few months, usually like 2 or 3 months, and you have the 10 of coins. All right, 10 of coins or 10 of pentacles. 10 of coins is generosity, but this is being wealth and having excess of a lot of things. And since this is a love reading, it could be excess of money, it could be a new job, it could be financial success, but this is more of, if you're single, this is more of wealth in love, wealth and romance. So if you get this card, this is saying, see, they're standing here, or they're playing this game intently, and this is saying, you know, there's like the two of you, and if you move your pieces right, then you could hit the jackpot of love, so to speak. But if you don't, and it goes to this justice card very well, because this is almost like the cause and effect. Well, if I move this direction, what happens? But if I move this direction, what happens? And you're just not sure. Should I put this person in the friend zone? Should I not? But this is saying, like, if you play the game right, and I hate to say game because love is not a game, but it can be, right? It can be a game of finding out what makes you happy, or, you know, maybe for the first time ever, you're actually feeling really happy. You're not quite sure how to play it. You're not quite sure what direction to move, or what to think, or how to feel. And so this 10 of coins is saying, look, you have this abundance coming. I mean, major abundance. The 10 of coins is like generosity. This is about excess, like so much abundance, you couldn't even imagine what to do with it. So it's like, you know, your heart energy and your soul and everything's just going to feel overwhelmed and overjoyed. And it's going to be this amazing, do you ever just, for that split second, sit there and for that, you get chills, or you might get that warm feeling where it's kind of like, all right, everything's going to be okay. It's like one of those moments. So over the next few weeks, next month or two, Leo, you have the ability to have a lot of things in your life. Money, job, success, but also an abundance of love and an abundance of, and it may even just be an abundance of really good people come into your life. Although I don't think you're looking to meet like 10 people to date. You're looking to meet 1 or 2 people and then go from there. And it's interesting because how we were talking about, you may be weighing 2 people. This could possibly be you, and you're going, you know, whoever plays their cards right is the one who's interested in me. I mean, again, it shouldn't be a game, and I don't think it's a game, and I take love and romance and all that very seriously because it's a piece of us, and love can be, you know, sweet and sorrowful, and it could be your best friend or your worst enemy. But it's interesting here because, I mean, it really does come down to, Leo, maybe you're just saying, you know, you gotta, like, I just totally lost the word I was looking for. You need somebody attentive. You need somebody who's paying attention. You need somebody who has listened to every conversation you've had and picked up on most of it and retained more than half of it, right? And so this is you saying, you know, hey, I'm available. If you're interested in me, you got to put a little fight in for it. You've got to, you know, I don't want somebody who's just like, hey, I'm here. I like you. Okay, do you like me? You're like, no, I want somebody who's like, I like you because I want to be with you because this is what I think is special about you, which should be like that all the time. Isn't it sad that it's not like that more? So for your distant future, this is definitely a good card to have. If you're looking to reconcile, this tells me that there is something bigger for a majority of you. For some of you, it may not be. It could be maybe you guys just need to separate the home. But this says that there could be children involved, or there could be some sort of legacy here. Some of you may be worried that if you break up, you know, it could mean devastation for your family, and not just your kids, but like, you know, your parents or grandparents. I feel like this reconciliation, almost, some of you want it, or they want it almost as like a saving face. And that may be harsh to hear, but it's true. Maybe your ex is coming back going, no, 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 no. I don't want anybody to know about this infidelity. I'll do anything. I'm sorry. Or maybe you are like, you know, we're not going down like this. Like, we're not going to let our kids or our family see us torn apart like this. You know, we're not going to do this to our kids. I've been there. I've seen this happen to my family. I've seen this. I bared this responsibility. I've seen people I love do this. So very interesting, Leo. There's something a little bit bigger here for you than I've seen with most signs this month, that the reconciliation may be something you want, but it's almost like it's something you need or they need. All right. The next card you have is your immediate future. So over the next few weeks, throughout the month of December, and you have the Star card, which is beautiful. The Star card is one of my favorite cards in the deck. It's also the card of Aquarius. So it could be you're dealing with an Aquarius or maybe an air sign, an Aquarius, Libra. And it's very interesting too, because the Star here, and sorry, Gemini, I don't know why I left that out. It's very interesting too, because the Star card's almost like coming in when you need it most. The Star is hope, it's inspiration, it's about wishing upon a star, so to speak. The Star card, again, is one of my favorite because this is you feeling inside very well. It's feeling this self-esteem bloom. It's also generosity card, which both of these are almost textbook definition generosity cards, which tells me if you're single, the Star says, look, you're hoping for it, you're manifesting it, you're thinking positive, you know, thoughts, you're putting that out into the universe, but you're also thinking positive thoughts internally as well. Even though these two cards in the beginning of December seem a little more critical, self-critical, a little more, you know, the Tower could symbolize self-sabotage at some point, but it's also somebody just having this wall up against their heart. And the Star is saying, give it a few weeks. Like, you've got the hope. You're lining things up the way you want. You're looking at things the right way. You're transforming your thought process just on love. You're transforming, again, it could be your physical appearance. And the Star is saying, look, enjoy that. Harness that energy. What could be more beautiful than a shining star, which throughout December, I feel like, Leo, you're going to pick up slowly and slowly and slowly and glow and glow. You're going to shine brighter and brighter and brighter. Shine, you know, like, I mean, who doesn't love staring at the stars? Who doesn't love dreaming about the stars? Who doesn't love, you know, romance under the stars, right? So the Star card, if you're single, is definitely a good place to be. It also means that you may meet that one person who then you can move on to, you know, this abundance of passion, abundance of love, abundance of possibilities. But the Star card also says, look, it's about inspiration, and somebody may come along who inspires you to be the best you can be. Because let's face it, like we said here, that's all you're looking for, is somebody who's genuine with you and somebody you can be genuine with. And the Star says, look, the possibilities are here. You just have to keep that hope alive. And you're going to feel more generous with your heart and your romance, and these walls are going to start coming down the more you pursue and get out there through the month of December. If you're looking to reconcile, this is a turn in the situation, because this says this rebirth of the Death card may be possible throughout December. You may start getting the answers you want. It may be that you have been a little paranoid on some of it. Now, I'm sure some of you are going to message me and say, no, they were completely awful. Well, if they were that awful, then maybe reconciliation is not the best decision, right? But the Star card says at some point there is this hope and inspiration you guys could get together. Now, maybe it is some sort of need, like I said before. Maybe you guys don't want to go out like that. Maybe you don't want to be the couple who broke up because of an affair. Maybe you feel like you have a bigger connection than that. It could be anything. It could be, you know, white lies. It could be dishonesty about money. And it could be, Leo, that either it's worse than you thought, or it's not as bad as you thought. Because like I said, the Tower's internal. So maybe after you get some clarity and some insight about this, you'll realize maybe it wasn't as bad as I thought, or maybe hope is still alive and this relationship could have a rebirth and start over. The next card you have is anything external, so anything tangible throughout the month of December. It could happen in the beginning, the middle, the end. It could happen one day. It could happen the entire month. This is just something that you might bump into along the road, and you have the Seven of Wands. The Seven of Wands is about somebody who's kind of prioritizing. So if you're single, this says you're going, okay, I'm going to meet somebody amazing. I know that. How am I going to fit this into my life? What am I going to do? And it's very interesting because I said you might have two people that you're dealing with, or decisions to make. Like you've got somebody in the friend zone and maybe somebody a little more in the lust zone or whatever. However, I do feel like the rising star will kind of come to the surface, but sorry, I'm a little stuffed up, so I keep hearing myself clog up a little bit, so I'm sorry about that. So the Seven of Wands is saying, look, you need to get your priorities straight, okay? Let's say you are down to two people, or let's say there is one person and they're showing you one side of themselves, which is the lustful, and one side of themselves, which is the friendship, and you want more of the happy medium. The Seven is saying, look, you need to figure out what it is you want. You need this clarity of the Queen. That's why you're coming in this month that way. Because you need to see, is this somebody who wants more than just a lustful relationship? Is this somebody who wants more than just a friendship? But you also want these burdens lifted. You want this to where, you're not holding on to this. This is spread out and you can kind of push through it. This is somebody who's in there. This is somebody on your team. You are looking for somebody on your team. And it may come down to you've met your match. It may come down to somebody who's like, hey, you got a really good job. Guess what? I have a really good job. Hey, you don't want to have to always be the one to take care of things. Guess what? I can take care of things too. This is somebody who is coming forward, who's kind of like, I don't want to say the whole package because it's never perfect and you're never going to meet anybody who's going to fulfill every need or wish of yours. Yes, there are these amazing love stories, and yes, there are a lot of people, but it takes work. And the Seven of Wands is somebody you're going to feel willing to make something work with, but it's going to be teamwork. Now, if you're looking to reconcile, this is strategy. This is some sort of defense. So either you're figuring out that things did break down and there is a dissolution of marriage, of a relationship, whatever it comes down to. And this may be you setting up for a divorce. This may be you planning to get your things back, to go for custody of the kids. I mean, I hate to say that, Leo, because, I like to look at the positive side of it. But for reconciliation, some of this is coming up as you got to take care of yourself. And you've got to look at this. And this star coming in is this bright hope and inspiration. That may be hope and inspiration that times are changing, and at some point during this month, you're going to know that either if you reconcile, then you're going to be hopeful about it. And if you don't, then you're going to know that you're going to move on and you're going to have this transformation, this rebirth, this death of the old and in with the new. Either way, Leo, you're going to survive. But this is definitely somebody who's got their defensive strategy up. So it may just be that because you've learned some things or because you're actually getting the answers you want, you're going, okay, so now how do we move past this? What's the solution we need to work on to make things happen? The next card you have is anything internal throughout the month of December. And this is, could be the beginning, the middle, end. Again, these two external you may see, feel, hear. The external you may feel, the internal once during the month or the entire time. So the Chariot is the Cancer card, so you may be dealing with a Cancer or water sign, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. But the Chariot is somebody who's figuring themselves out, which goes swimmingly with the Death card here. Because if you're single, this is somebody who's trying to figure out their duality. Who do I fit with? I know who I am. I'm figuring out who I am. I know what I want. I see the clarity and the insights that I need in order to find somebody that I could pursue and really have a good relationship with. But this is about balance. You want this balance. You don't want to bear these burdens anymore, Leo. Whatever. And again, you may not feel like that. And that may be why you're alone, because you haven't met anybody who's willing to have a 50-50 and a genuine balanced relationship with you. And this is you saying, I'm not cutting it any other way. It's going to be 50-50. In a relationship, it should be a partnership. And that's exactly what you're looking for, which is very valuable and it's very good and it's very interesting. Even though the two is not coming up for you, I find it very interesting that there's two swords here. There's two swords here. There's two players here. It's kind of coming up to me. I don't know why two is coming up significant for me for whatever reason, but something to do with 2 weeks, 2 months, the second day of a month. But this is saying, the Chariot's saying, look, this is a duality. This is you mixed with somebody else, two different personalities coming together and controlling that balance. And it's very good. This is you saying, I know who I am. I know what I'm looking for. And so we can come together and make that happen. And it's very interesting because you seem more set up to find somebody who would really work with you in a dating relationship than maybe a commitment, than a relationship, and so forth and so forth. So the Chariot is a great card to have here because this is you really standing your ground and having your, you know, your moral compass in check, and having self-control too. Not, you know, not just running for the lust, but also understanding that a friendship is key. If you're looking to reconcile, the Chariot says you need to figure out, like, if you guys can move in the same direction. And the interesting thing with the Chariot is, if, let's say there's a horse-drawn carriage, right, or horse-drawn chariot, right? If the horses are going in two different directions, if they have two different goals, if they're not seeing eye to eye, the carriage doesn't go anywhere. It's at a standstill, or it just tugs and pulls back and forth. And this is saying you guys need to figure out a balance. But you also, because this is internal, you need to figure out a balance. If you care about this person and you want to be with them and you want to give it another chance, you have to figure out all this other stuff in order to make that happen, or else it's going to be out of balance. If you come in too critical and you're pointing fingers, you got to figure that out, because you're not going to get anywhere with that. But if they come in and they're too critical of you, you have to figure that out. The Chariot's saying, look, we're not moving anywhere until we get all this taken care of. But it also takes self-control. You might be really angry. You might be, you know, still like feeling disappointed or feeling angst or feeling upset, going through the emotions of what happens when you break up, or what happens when you go through, you know, difficult times. And so it seems like you're kind of up and down, up and down. And the Chariot's saying, okay, you're going to even out. You're going to feel a little better. You're going to feel like you have self-control. You're going to be able to have the duality of, yes, I'm angry, but I'm also willing to either work this out, or I'm ready to break it up. The next two cards you have are your hopes and fears. So anything you're going to feel at the end of December. And you have the Eight of Cups and your outcome for December. And you have the Lovers. Okay, well, there you go. All right, so the Eight of Cups. This is how you're going to be feeling at the end of December. And if you're single, this is very... this is saying be patient, okay? The Death card also heeds the warning of be patient. Don't push things in a direction they don't need to go. This is somebody going, I'm not satisfied with the pace of how things are going. It's not moving as fast. It feels like it's there's stagnation here. And so the Eight of Cups is saying, look, if you're single, you may all of a sudden come upon this star, right? Because this is such a shining star, and it's going to hit you in December, that you're going to be like, whoa, I really like this person. I feel like they could be somebody significant in my life. Like the right person stepped up and joined the, you know, the realm of what you're looking for. And you could really have this long nights with, you know, hot cocoa and board games or whatever. This person's going to be very significant in your life. But at some point you may be feeling like, come on, what are you doing? We really like each other. Or you may be, if it is somebody who seems like they're more in the friend zone, you may be like, hey, are we in the friend zone or what? Like, you say you like me, but you treat me like we've known each other for 20 years and you're not romantic or anything. So just be careful. Don't try and push it, because you've been slow going. You've been taking your time. You've been willing to make the changes to get what you want and the sacrifices to get what you want. And you may all of a sudden have the insight before this other person does, or they may say things, but they're not showing you the actions as quickly. Just be patient, because, I mean, what better outcome than the Lovers, right? So if you're looking to reconcile, the Eight of Cups also says you may not get the answers that you want, or you may not get the communication you want, or you may decide you're not going to communicate with them and you're at a stalemate. Because the Eight of Cups is kind of saying, I'm not interested in anything else you have to say. I'm not interested in moving forward with this. I'm not happy about it. But what's interesting too is you have the opposite, because this is force. And so you may be trying to force something, or they may be trying to force something to happen. Again, this is internal. So this is, you know, you may be feeling like, hey, we've been communicating, but now we're not, like, nothing's going on. We're just at a standstill. I'm not getting answers. You know, he or she's agreed to talk, but we're not talking about anything. We're just kind of not moving. Again, stagnation. You're just sitting still. And some of you, again, I think you may not be able to get in contact with them, or they're contacting you, and you're not wanting to talk, or you feel like you're not getting the straight answers, and you're like, until you can be straight up with me, it's not going to happen. We're not going to have this conversation. However, you both have the outcome of the Lovers. So let's start with reconciliation. If you're looking to reconcile, it's very interesting because these two cards right here, this is the Cancer card and this is the Gemini card. And you have, you know, Cancer, which is a water sign, and Gemini, which is an air sign. And so, which is very interesting because these are both about duality. So it's about finding somebody who kind of matches. And I wouldn't say twin flame. If the Two of Cups was here, I might think that it was like the twin flame because that's very much that. But the Lovers is very positive. This is about pairing. It's about making things happen. If you're looking to reconcile, like I said, we'll start with you. This is saying, look, there's two of you. You're two different personalities. And you're going to have to learn to come together if this is what you really want. And it's based on values, which is very interesting because these two cards talk about values. So somewhere here, if you're looking to reconcile, you guys really have to figure out what's important to you. Some of you want to save face. Like you don't want to, you're kind of like, no, I don't give up. I don't, you know, let things result in, I don't let things go, you know, if I feel like there's still a connection here. I'm not, and you may be telling this person, I'm not going to let it go, even if they did betray you, or vice versa. They may be saying to you, look, you really hurt me, but I'm not willing to let you go. Somewhere here, somebody's saying, even with all of our difficulties, even with everything we've been through, I love you. And you may come in the beginning of the month like ready to split it off, ready to be done, but then you're going to hit this hope and inspiration. And then you're going to figure out that you guys could move together, but you've got to both be on track. And this is saying in the end, there's a possibility that you guys could get it together and that you guys could find love again. But there's some work here, Leo. If you're looking to reconcile, there's some work here. And if you're not willing to put in the work, then I would make the change, rebirth, and then view this again as somebody who is single. If you are single, this is a beautiful card because it's actually a beautiful card for both of you. And I'm not trying to be harsh, Leo, and saying that you can't reconcile. I mean, again, this is general, but there's some difficult things here. And you know, some of you know, like, you have some major steps to get through before you get to this Lover's card. It's not that it's not possible. I mean, God, you have the Star in this read, which she's been popping up a lot this month for a lot of signs, which is very good. It's very positive energy. But to end with the Lovers, it's a possibility for you both. If you're single, this is a pairing. This is finding somebody. So even if you have these two people you're weighing, and again, the number 2, for whatever reason, is striking out to me because you know, even here, it's like firmly, like you've got two choices, 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 days. The Star is beautiful. And then, so getting through these choices, decisions, values, etc., you meet the shining star and you end up with the Lover. So if you're single, I mean, hi, we're the Lovers. That's a good place to be. And then with that comes this abundance of the 10 of coins, of almost feeling that overwhelming sensation of excess, of contentment, of overwhelming satisfaction of being with somebody. I'm going to pull out 2 clarifying cards really quick, and then I will let you go. But Leo, to end with the Lovers, whether you're single or looking to reconcile, is definitely an amazing place to be. Like I said, don't be scared of this Death card. Embrace it. Any changes that are coming, that need to come, are very positive. And then to have, the Star in it is, you know, unbelievable. Okay, so you have clarifying the outcome, the Knight of Cups, and clarifying, oh my gosh, clarifying the distant futures, the 9 of Coins. For a second, I thought that was the 10 of Coins, and I was going to say, I think maybe once this entire year I've had a clarifying card that matches the outcome. But you have the 9 and then the 10. 9 and then the 10, which is beautiful. All right, so let's do this first. The Knight of Cups on top of the Lovers. This is clarifying your outcome for the month. The Knight of Cups is somebody who's romantic. They're fanciful. They're whimsy. They're dreaming. This feather is almost like it's off of, you know, a dream catcher. So this is somebody who is dreaming, and it's like you start here going, could he or she be good for me? Let me think. Are we in the friend zone? Are we romantic? Where are we going with this? And in the end, you're going, let's do it. We're good. Let's go. We want to be lovers, hand in hand. We want to build a relationship. And the Knight is somebody who has opened themselves up to the possibility of dreams. Not, you know, like, hey, you know, knight in shining armor comes to rescue me in some big castle, but realistic dreams. And it feels like, Leo, for the first time in a long time, you're going to actually be able to see yourself progressing with somebody else by your side. If you're looking to reconcile, this also says, look, there might be hope after all. There might be some big surprises here romantically. There may be some things that you guys are going to have to figure out, but the chance of getting back to that feeling of contentment, there is real chance. The end of this month, something may come into play that you guys just realize, hey, let's just do this. Let's give it another chance. Now, the 9 of coins crowning the 10 of coins is beautiful for your distant outcome because, ironically, these are both about big time abundance, success, accomplishment. So if you're single, it's just a plethora. It's going to be a plethora of more positive energy, more relationship vibing energy. When you guys start dating, it's good, but then maybe you guys decide to commit and it's even greater. And then maybe you guys decide to have a relationship and it's even greater. This is a fulfillment of moving into things that you really want. This is accomplishing your goals in love, but this is also accomplishing your goals in other areas of your life and feeling satisfied. So you're going to feel satisfied with this person over the next few months. It's going to kind of grow into a course of feeling like love is blooming. If you're looking to reconcile, somewhere along the line here, there's an accomplishment. There's an accomplishment of getting over some sort of hump. Whatever this is, whatever this betrayal is, or this clarity you need, you're going to feel like you have the answers you seek. Now you can make decisions. Now you can base it on love instead of being paranoid about things or about feeling angry or upset. And it may just be that you guys start communicating. There may have been a cut of communication altogether. Either you didn't want to have anything to do with them and talk to them, or they didn't want to talk to you, but you still know you're connected. And the 9 of coins is also saying, look, you know, you can have that abundance as well. But Leo, you got to take care of the front of the house too, because if everything breaks down, you've got to build from the beginning. But the 9 is saying, look, whether you're single or looking to reconcile, something is definitely blooming here, and it ends on a positive note. So, Leo, I hope you have a fantastic December. I will talk to you soon. I'm hoping to get in touch with everybody before the end of the year. Thanks.